Okay, so Mr. King here, and this is the Lab 8 video for Physical Geography 2. Alright, so this should be a fairly short and sweet lab. Before we get into this, I have a few things I'd like to discuss. One, good job with the labs last week. I got those pretty promptly, thank you for that. Also, there were a lot of questions about some of the parts of the lab, and I tried to get to you guys as quickly as I possibly could, so thank you for your patience while I was able to get through all the questions, because that was the most complicated lab that we have had to do so far. Actually, the last two shouldn't be nearly as complicated, so that was it. That was the most complicated one. Alright. Additionally, from here on out, I would ask that all of your submissions please be on Canvas. Email, some of you did send them to me by email, and that has proven to be a little unreliable. I know I've had to reach out to some of you again to let you know that it did not quite work for me. Please submit them on Canvas, and I will, if you have any issues with that, just let me know. Additionally, again, if you reached out to me for something and I did not get back to you, I apologize. That it was a lot going on last week. If you would like to, please, again, either email or send me a text message. Either one of those is the best way to get a hold of me. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get into the lab. So open your lab manual to page 101, and you will see the reading elevations from a topographic map. So, you may notice, and I think one or two of you have reached out to me about this already, that you need the map, the Jacksonville quadrangle, the map that we have used before. No, you're not going to need it. I am going to provide you with a map. Well, actually, some very nice pictures I have taken of that map. And in lieu of turning in the lab itself, you are instead going to turn in a very short packet that I'm going to give you. I'm going to make like a document or a PDF or something to send to you. And you can either print it out and take pictures of it, or write over it through whichever computer program you wish, but just be sure that it gets back to me. Actually, you might even be able to just write down the answers on a separate document and send them through Canvas to me. Okay, so let's get right into this. So, reading a topographic map, we have gone through some of the basics of this before when we made the contour maps, the contour interval maps before. But what we're going to do this time is we're just going to talk about how to read them. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to know is when you look at a map, look at the bottom of page 101 in your lab manual, you're going to see that there's a map with a bunch of lines and they are numbered. So what this tells you, a topographic map tells you the elevation, and most of the time it is the elevation above sea level. So that map in particular is telling you that it is 590 feet above sea level. Okay, so when you look at the topographic map, the Jacksonville quadrangle, and I will be sending you pictures of this, you will see that there are thin lines and there are thick lines. So let's talk about the thick lines first. Alright, so the thick lines mark important intervals. Those intervals, I believe, on the Jacksonville quadrangle are in hundreds. So if you see a thick line on the Jacksonville quadrangle, it will mark that it is the 700, 800, and so on. And that will help you understand where the other contour lines begin in relation to that. Alright. If you see thin lines, these will be the most common. The thin lines will mark the contour interval. The contour interval, I believe, for the Jacksonville quadrangle is 20 feet. 20 feet per line, in between each line. So what you're going to do is you're going to see there are a bunch of these. These will be the most common, and they will be interspersed with these thicker lines. So the thick lines will mark, like let's say this one's 100, right? Well, it would be 100, 120, 140, and so on. Do be sure to pay attention to whether the lines, whether the elevation is increasing or decreasing by making sure to pay attention to where the other thicker lines are. You kind of want to try and find where the in-betweens of those will be. Okay. So the thinner lines mark the contour interval. The thicker lines mark important intervals. like I said, the hundreds. Okay, so the last thing we have to talk about is a depression contour. And a depression contour is occasionally on a map, you will see a little circle with them like teeth sticking inwards, right? Okay, so they are not usually marked with a contour interval. They do not usually have their elevation marked. So what this means is that the terrain of this area is reacting in a different way than the rest of the contours, which means it's probably something that has like a sharp dip. So you may find this if you have like excavations done or a sinkhole or so on. But it is always the same as the nearest contour. So if the nearest contour line is 500 feet, right? I guess that would be like a thicker line, I suppose. If the nearest contour line is 500 feet, the depression line will be 500 feet. It is always the same as the nearest contour. So this is the one thing I would say you definitely need to know when it comes to the final. This will be a question on it, so be sure to know that. So to review, the thicker lines mark important intervals. And like I said on the Jacksonville quadrangle, that will be the hundreds. The thin lines mark the contour interval, which again, it's 20 feet on the quadrangle. And the depression contours, when you see those, they are always the same elevation as the nearest contour line. Okay. And that is pretty much it. That's pretty much the end of the lab. So, what you need to do from here is I'm going to send you a packet along with this. This will be at the bottom of the announcement post. And what you're going to do is you're going to answer one of the, I think what the lab had, 6 questions. I will give you something similar to that, and it will be very easy to read. I've taken pictures of this map and made sure that it was easy to read and easy to zoom in on also. But you will then turn in to me that. So you're going to turn in page 105. No, the packet. But we're not doing 105. Okay, caught me there. All right, so the last thing that I need to mention is your final is 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away? Yeah, okay. Just gonna change this. You're turning in the packet. All right, your final is 2 weeks away. I believe, upon the moment of this posting. It'll be April 17th. So, I will be preparing one more lab next week. You'll have that. And then I'm going to give a review video. I usually try and have review sessions for my classes, as I like to try and step you guys through what it's going to be on the final. I will be making a video about what to expect on the final and what you will be facing there, and I will try and post it with enough time that you will be able to give me questions about the material. I might make this maybe a discussion board on Canvas. I'm not entirely sure how that will work because I haven't done that before. So we will make it in a way where we can open the discussion before the final gets here. So, but that's it. That's all I have. So remember, no, not 105. You're going to turn in the packet to me that I'm going to send. Force of habit here, writing down the number. All right. And this is, I will step back here. This is the information that you need to know. All right. Okay, that's it. Thank you.